Guys, we're here in Showroom, a beautiful space, if I may say so, in the east of Amsterdam. And I'm very delighted that we've organized our first fashion weekender with these two amazing guests of the amazing brands, Treasure Tribes and Larry J from Accra, Ghana. It's amazing that we have both founders here, so we figured, well, since we're all here, let's not just sell clothing, but let's also talk about the brands and see if we can get your brand story out amongst our audiences. So, if I may ask, Awurama, could you tell us about who you are and why and how you started Treasure Tribes as a brand?
Okay. Thank you guys for having me. First of all, this is amazing, beautiful. My name is Awurama Mankatah. I'm the founder and CEO of Treasure Tribes. Treasure Tribes started mainly as a hobby that I knew was going to grow into a business, but I was all about slow branding and slowly bringing it, getting people's attention. So basically, the brand started because I used to go on road trips and visit like art markets and stuff like that a lot. And I went to an art market in Ibri one time and I saw mud cloth, the fabric.
For those who don't know, Immerse is a small town out of
in the
Accra,
eastern region. It's a cool town. So I was like, let me visit, see what's up, saw mud cloth, and then it hit me that it wasn't really being used as clothing back then. It was mostly like pillows and wall hangings and just like decor stuff. And being the hippie that I was then, I was like, you know what, I'm going to make this into something that you can just wear, throw on things. And then once I started wearing that to lectures and stuff, my friends started getting interested, which I knew they would. And it became like people who are like-minded like me would see it and it's just like, okay, I see you, I actually want that. And then the bigger idea became that let's use the textiles that we have on the continent to make cool clothing, because I realized that it was getting lost in the sauce where people were not using our traditional textiles but would rather import and stuff. So my whole philosophy became protecting our textiles through modern design. So that was like the birth of Treasure Tribes, really.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's like the little summary of how that happened.
And the textiles you're using are not only textiles from Ghana?
No. So it started with Bogolan from Mali, and then it became Fugu from the northern region, and then now we use Kente from the southern part, and then Baoulé from Côte d'Ivoire. And the main idea is when we travel to another African country and we come by their textile, we want to incorporate that, because why not? Like, they have amazing craftsmanship and it feels so fulfilling and satisfying to be able to support directly from the community. So that's really the vibe. Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome.
On your left, the one and only Larry J.
Yeah.
Please tell us, I've known your brand for quite some years.
Yeah, I mean, I remember meeting you in Lagos.
In Lagos, yeah.
Like 2018 or 2019. Yeah.
Before that, I knew your brand like from Accra, from the visits.
Nice.
So please tell us about Larry J for those who don't know you.
So yeah, I'm Larry. I'm the founder and creative director behind the Larry J brand. I started in 2012 as an accessory label. I mean, before I started, I was making accessories for myself from off-cut and like pieces of fabrics from my mother's wardrobe. So I'd make accessories for myself, and then sometimes when I wear them out, I would get compliments from friends. So sometimes I made some for some of my friends, and as time went by, I realized I could commercialize it. So I started making them for little coins, and along the line in 2017, I tried to introduce clothing because some of these accessories were not worn properly like I wanted it to be. So I introduced like some small clothing to style them with the accessories. So like my first collection really went well, and so I realized, okay, I had to do a lot more with like the clothing. So then, I started, even before, when I was using the fabrics of cut from my mom's wardrobe, I realized I was upcycling them.
Mm-hmm.
So that was how my upcycling and repurposing initiative started. So when I started clothing, I was like, okay, why not just continue with the upcycling initiative? So I would get fabrics from Kantamanto, you know Kantamanto very well. Yeah, that's one of the largest markets in Africa where like all the Westerners throw their
Yes.
their leftovers.
It's the
So-
clothing that is donated by people in the West, but also by people in Asia by now.
Yeah.
You know, that's been shipped outside
Mhm.
thinking, we as donators thinking it's been handed out
Yeah.
for free to
Yeah.
those in need. But it's a good that's been sold and it might end
Yeah,
up
but the
in
other way around, sometimes this clothing come, like some of them are not in good condition, so
Absolutely,
like
yeah.
out of 100%, like 50% ends up in our water bodies and
Yeah.
landfills. So we decided to like, do something with some of this clothes, some of this garment, the fabric that have been done. So we sometimes like upcycle them with the help of our artisans. Some of these artisans are from Guinea, some of them are from Mali and Burkina Faso. So they employ their hand tie-dye skills on these fabrics, just the way we want it to go with our aesthetic, and then like we try to make garment out of these fabrics. So yeah, that's how the journey started for Larry J.
And both of your brands are very keen on sustainability.
Yeah, right.
Which I think is an interesting thing because the fashion industry is the second most polluting industry on the planet, unfortunately.
What's the first?
Plastic,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken, yeah, plastic.
Yeah. So yeah, well, we also introduced like some hand-woven fabrics last 2 seasons, and this is because I come from the northern region of Ghana, and this is what a lot of people in the northern region do. So me as a northerner trying to like preserve my northern culture, I decided to also add some hand-woven fabrics into my line. Because right now it's like the Western fabrics and I mean like a whole lot of things are taking over, so our culture and everything is dying out. So to be able to like preserve it, to like still have it in the system, I decided to like also work with handmade fabrics from my northern background.
Beautiful. What does sustainability mean to you, Awurama?
Okay, so for me, it's about utilizing what we have that exists already. Because even like in an African home, like the biscuits, like the tin biscuits, at least tin biscuits, once it's done, it's a sewing kit or something. It's a container that we're going to utilize for something in the future. So sustainability has really been within us, like before sustainability became a thing.
Yeah.
So it's in us to repurpose things and just utilize things that we have. So sustainability for me means using what we have to further whatever we want to do. So for example, my fabrics, I chose to stick with the indigenous textiles because it's things that we've had in our culture for centuries. And it's very important to carry that on as opposed to going to import, to bring new things in when we have this quality array of textiles that I haven't even like finished tapping into, but it's like amazing already. I just sourced from 4 countries and it's insane already. So I know like there's more. So yeah, and then it also is about being able to source from the direct sources where it actually comes from. So like the ethical side of things, making sure that the money goes back into the community, people are not being used. I had one person suggest that, oh, since you're like becoming big, why don't you scale up in China? Why don't you let like, and I was like, that's not a point. Like that's the opposite of what
you're trying to do.
exactly. If I'm scaling up with my weavers in the north or in Mali. So yeah, sustainability really is about utilizing what I have around me. Yeah.
Beautiful. Larry, you practice sustainability in a different way. You already mentioned the, bringing it back to your culture, making sure your culture is still vivid, but I also know that you use kind of leftover materials, if I may say. Why did you make that decision?
So yeah, I just feel like sustainability is a broad topic if you have to talk about, but it's just based on what the brand is like really focused on. So as a brand, our ethos are like really focusing on our immediate environment, making sure like everything is really going on well. So what we do as a brand is like work with our indigenous artisans, our immediate people around us. So we And this is also like us providing them with job opportunities. Yeah. Also like, preserving our northern heritage. That is also like part of our sustainability story. And also like, preserving, our environment with this leftover fabrics not being like, not filling our lands and also our water bodies. Yeah, so I just feel like sustainability is a broad topic if we have to talk about it, but each brand has a way handle.
And you just launched a documentary.
Yeah.
In which you tell your stories.
Yeah, so the documentary was aired in Germany by GW News.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we shot it, I think in February this year.
Oh, that's great.
Over Afrimax TV from South Africa. I mean, they reached out to me because they found the brand online, and then they felt like it's in line with what they are doing. Also because of sustainability, they felt, okay, we are doing something right, which is like helping the community and also like, upcycling whatever leftover fabric that have been brought from the West. Yeah. So they felt, oh, this is something like the world needs to see. Yeah, because day in, day out, we are like educating people to be conscious of what they consume, not just food, but even what they wear. So yeah, I feel like that's our way of, like educating the world. Yeah.
We're here now in Amsterdam. Yeah. I'm very stoked that this is the first time you actually are really. I know you've done some things at the airports. You've been here for that project, but like this is the first sale you're doing, and I'm very honored that you want to do it here with us at Showroom. So it's part of your European, so you're touching upon quite a few cities, both of you. What is it like for brands with like the values that you have and the stories that you try to tell are very local, national, cultural? How is it to tap into like a global market with different people with different ideas of fashion?
Okay, I'll start. I feel like we've been coming into this market for maybe 4 years.
Yeah, like
5 years.
Yeah.
And we're still like learning the trends. For example, I feel like sometimes we've been discouraged when we're coming. They'll be like, oh, Europeans like dark clothing, blah, blah. And it's like, it's true and all. Like, if you're in Switzerland, then your things are navy blue and black. Maybe you get more sales. But I feel like it has to do with like your niche. Like, for example, my niche is like people who are like open-minded and understand that they can wear this like anyhow. Clothing is a form of expression. So I don't really limit myself to, oh, this country I'm going to, they like to wear black, blah, blah. I don't care. It's about my brand, what I have to bring into the market, and if it resonates with anyone. If it resonates, shout out to you. If it doesn't, I understand. Somebody will resonate, and those are like the people I care about. So yeah, that's my answer to that. Yeah.
How do you feel about Larry? International clients and audiences in different cities?
I mean, it's not easy, but I feel like right now people are like moving back to like stories. So I feel like the more stories we tell about what we are doing, the more people buy into it. So I feel like that is what has been selling for us since we started. And it's not really about selling more or anything, it's about reaching the masses. Even if they don't buy, at least they know what you are doing, they follow, and then like they are able to, it helps everyone in a way. It helps you to like not buy more when you can't consume, be conscious of what you buy and what you wear. So I just feel like it's not about the colors, it's not about the cuts, it's about the story we tell with what we are doing. And most of our pieces are not just like, I just feel like they are wearable art. Yeah, it tells stories when you wear them. So that is what works for Larry J.
I just want to add that people would also recommend that, when you're going here, the pricing, people will not really buy if it's higher, blah, blah. But honestly, I feel like the cost of our fabrics is really way more than people who are allowed to price their things in certain ways. And it's crazy. So we're learning how to know our worth and stick to it, as opposed to, reducing producing things just based on what people will think, because we know the work that goes into creating this, and it's a shame that usually people look on things that are from Africa as, oh, it's from Africa, so it has to be like cheap.
Yeah.
Oh, it's colorful and it's printed, so it has to be cheap. No, it should be more. It's really
And
expensive
like both brands are handmade, and I think
Handmade.
90% of the fashion we buy here is like, it's still handmade, but it's like in sweatshops far down, and,
Right.
and you work with artisans.
We
the
work with
price should be
artisans who
up.
also know their worth.
Yeah. So we kind of have to. I
Yeah.
think it's our task to get us to educate consumers of fashion
Exactly,
of the
that's
real
right,
price of
yeah.
items.
I
Yeah.
brought about the story. When you tell a story well,
Yeah,
when
they
you tell it
understand.
more, then it sells for you. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I could sell like maybe a shirt for like maybe $1,000 US,
Mm-hmm.
but someone would see it and go like, no, this is too much. But after telling my story,
They
Yeah.
understand.
why and how it's
Yeah.
1,000, the person will pay for
Yeah.
it without
Yeah.
thinking twice.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There's a question in the audience.
It's not a question, it's a jump to what
Okay.
they said. I totally agree with it because for me, it's not a matter of knowing or not knowing, but it's a matter of perception. Because I feel personally that within Europe, whenever it's any sort of creative craft or whatever that a black person does, there's this assumption that it's of meager value or it's lesser than.
Yeah.
So you can say it's handcrafted all you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People think, oh, it's from Africa, so it needs to be this
There's
price
always
or
a
something.
question mark
It's
on
a
it.
matter of perception, what you
Yeah.
see as luxury versus what you see as just basic.
Yeah.
So all of that is tied into the pricing, how you market it, the demographic, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's true.
What made you guys decide to go on a European tour? Because traveling these days, I mean, traveling is not too hard, but traveling with a
Oh my gosh. Traveling in Ghana City, but
and traveling with this much material with
Yeah.
oh
you,
Lord.
but still you guys are here, and not just here, but in many cities. Why, like, how did that idea come about?
You wanna start?
Is Larry's idea?
Well, I feel like for Larry J, it's something we've been trying to do since last year, so we started it last year. This is because
Why?
we are trying to, like have the global presence. We are trying to reach the masses. I mean, there are people in Europe, in the US, in anywhere in the world who want to like tap into what we are doing, but seeing it online alone is not satisfying. So sometimes they want to see the pieces, they want to touch it, they want to feel it. And some of these people haven't been to Africa before. So then we have to make an attempt by bringing it closer to them.
Nice.
Yeah, at least if maybe I'm in Switzerland and someone is in Amsterdam and they see I'm in Switzerland and they really want to, it's just a train away, they could come to Switzerland and then like feel it,
Yeah.
see it. Because I feel like seeing it in person, feeling it, wearing it, sells more than just being online. Because we are very natural and we don't do so much like makeup, so sometimes we need to see it in person. Yeah, because we don't want a situation whereby you just see it online, you buy it, and then you're like, this is not what I ordered for. No, so it's better you see it online. It's not like we don't put the exact thing online. It's the same thing, but sometimes people have their ways, especially when you're from Africa. It's like they're doubting you already.
Right.
Yeah. So then we bring it to you.
Proof to the pudding, like
Yeah.
we're good.
Yeah.
Online and offline.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sweet.
For us, like the Europe tour came about because we had the main event, which was Aphrodite, and then Larry and I were discussing like, since we're
I
going
would say it's the event you just came from in Geneva.
Yes, from
Yes.
Geneva. Yeah, I've been doing that for 3 years, but COVID hit, and it wasn't a thing since 2020. So this was like a comeback.
Yeah.
So yeah, Larry was coming along too, and then we're like, since we're going to be in Europe, let's just like basically take the opportunity to like go to these places because we can,
Yeah.
and we have like connects in like these little different countries.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I feel like for me, traveling is really fun. It's just fun, even though lugging a whole suitcase.
This girl is like, I was amazed. Like first time, like no, it's not your first time. Second time in really Amsterdam, right?
Yeah, second time.
She was craving kenke yesterday, so I WhatsApped her like her address, and it's a kenke house I forgot to mention it, like on a roadway you can't really walk, so I just said it to her. She called me, but I was busy with the cake.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I was looking for the cake and I found it. And I was like, oh my gosh, you must be like a trooper if you're able to find this, because you can't really find the neighbor, but you really went for it by yourself.
I went around, it wasn't there. I was like, this place doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Ask people, and then I asked them, like, oh, I think that's it. So I got that. So yeah, like traveling and meeting people is really fun. Bringing your products. Honestly, it's not really always about sales for me. It's just about the vibe, you know, and you never know who you meet or how you connect. Through our travels, we've met so many people and connected in so many different ways that are all like such a plus to our brand. So yeah, it's just really fun, and I feel like this is our second stop on this Europe tour, and we're really excited to be here. Like it's fun. Yeah, meeting all of you guys. Yeah. So yeah, it's just fun. It's fun.
Thank you. I didn't want to make this too long of a thing. Is there something you want to add? Something I've missed? Somebody here wants to hear?
Yeah. Any more questions, guys? Maybe.
Question add-ons. Any love you want to share? Tim.
Do you get a lot of competition from European wholesalers, because obviously you're not in the market alone? So when you go to these pop-ups, these trade fairs, that sort of thing, what's the reaction from other European wholesalers?
Is there any reaction from European wholesalers?
I'm sure there is.
Do you get any reaction?
So sometimes I just feel like wholesalers, when you say wholesalers, in terms of like wholesale buyers or
Like stores who want to buy.
What do you mean by wholesale? Like, what is
Like-
your definition of wholesale?
People who want to buy, and then other European people who are at the trade shows.
Okay, I feel like from my side, some people are usually scared because they don't know if their customers would like this or not.
Okay.
So it's a bit of a hesitance. But like I said, my product is really about who it resonates with. So the real ones who are actually interested are always like, hey, like this and this and that. I don't really force to get biased or anything. Maybe I should, but I'm not like that. I'm very good with the flow. So yeah, even if there's really reactions, I don't really notice it. I only notice the people who are actually interested.
That's keep
Yeah,
that thought, like keep that
yeah.
mindset. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so I just feel like sometimes they doubt once it's like, you know, a local brand. They just feel like can they handle this order? Can they, the quantity especially. Do they have the capacity to be able to like, you know, handle this order? That's usually the problem we have with local brands. But yeah, I mean, most of the time we are able to handle it. Once we have the resources available, we are able to handle it. Yeah.
And I'm sure that you know when to say no if you can't handle it.
Of
So it's
course,
like
of
it's
course.
also
Yeah,
a
yeah,
decision.
yeah.
Or if alignments, like if we don't align.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you are getting like maybe 10,000 orders,
Yeah.
I'll give you the time. If it
Yeah.
will take me like maybe a year or 6 months to produce, I'll give it to you. If you can wait, that's fine. If you can, then I let you know how many pieces I can produce within your time frame.
What's the biggest challenge you're facing now?
Oh God, all the time.
Biggest challenge.
Because when I think of fashion in a place like Accra, where especially if you work with artisans, like electricity is not always a fact, and you know, material. Though we work with local materials, like you know, there's some challenges.
Well, I just feel like with Ghana, we are okay with electricity. Nigerians are like the ones really battling with electricity, but one challenge in Ghana is with skilled labor. Yeah, sometimes you have the idea, you can do everything. Like sometimes I do the samples, I give it to them, and it's like they are not able to execute it the way I want it. Yeah, and I can't do the work alone.
No.
Yeah, so our challenge sometimes is with skilled labor. Yeah.
Ours is with the African mindset sometimes. Like in Africa, everything is really chill. We're not very, you have to do this, you have to be on time. And it's cool, it's positive in some ways, but in many other ways it's negative because like sometimes, like let's say we have a particular color of a fabric that we've noticed that there's demand for. And then now I go to order that from Mali, the color will come and it's a slightly different one.
No, but you know, with that, let me add up to it.
Yeah.
Like, so on our website, we always
Put a disclaimer.
note.
That's good.
Because once
Same.
it's handmade, you
Yeah, you
can't
can't
always get it
guarantee.
exact.
Same,
Yeah.
but still, like it's like you could have just gotten the cover right.
No.
I like that.
No, if it's a business
Mhm.
and it's a business transaction, fabric artisan to designer, produce that same color of pink for me. It should be doable. I know I don't know, it shouldn't be tough, but there's just a mindset of this one is nice also. Like don't worry, but it's like no,
See,
this is not what my
if your mind's not
customer
like-
Once we get it in the same shade, I feel like it's okay.
No,
Like
it's
for
not.
instance, no way. Like for instance, there's a fabric that this particular fabric
Yeah.
from last season.
Yeah.
So like on 3 occasions when we're producing the fabric, it came out in different colors. But I would complain about it, but I can't push so much because first of all, it's handmade. Sometimes even the quantity of the water you're adding to the chemical.
Yeah, it makes a difference.
Yes.
But that's what you're paying them for.
No, you can't say that's what you're paying them for.
Yes,
You
for
have-
me,
no,
because
wait.
so sometimes I have a product on the website,
Do you know-
it's sold out,
Do you know
right?
even the machines, even like the Western machines sometimes bring out that? Do you know why we
No,
have
it's
like?
not.
No,
Sometimes
wait, let me
Larry,
explain something.
they are capable,
I know.
but they almost shut up.
No.
Say.
Do you know why we have like a lot of waste in Africa? Because sometimes even here when you produce it and the color changes a bit,
Yeah, they ship it to
they ship it to
yeah.
Africa.
Done.
That's
Yeah.
the problem. They don't consume it.
Yeah.
Even if there's like a slight mistake to it, they don't use it.
No, but
Because that's not what they
from
want.
my
So then they bring it to
experience,
Africa.
from my experience, Larry, I feel like even though it's handmade and it should be allowed and everything, it shouldn't always be allowed because I lose money from that because I'll have a picture on the website. This is available on pre-order. A customer will order it and then now I get the fabric and it's a different shade.
But is it not also that we maybe have to educate the consumer again?
No, I
Exactly.
do know.
That is why
I have
you
the
always need to
note, I
have-
have the disclaimer.
Yeah.
Colors will slightly change,
Mhm.
but I want consistency.
Yeah.
That's my challenge.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's cool. Like it's cool when it changes sometimes, but it's not. Like if I'm paying for you to give me this specific shade of pink, it's not up to you to decide that
The other shade
this
is
other
nice.
shade of pink is nice. No, I'm
Yeah.
giving you money to give me something. And sometimes when you complain, they will actually get it right the next time. So it's not even a matter of the environment wasn't. It's complacency.
I hear you both.
It's-
I think you're not gonna agree, but I hear you
but
both.
do you know
Yeah.
sometimes even the weather, the sun for drying the fabric
Yeah.
changes the color. So sometimes it's
Yeah.
with nature.
Or the
it's not
humidity
even-
in the air.
Yeah, it's with nature. It's not even about them sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you get it? Sometimes the number of days they even leave the indigo in the pit or whatever to ferment even
See,
changes it.
that all
So
boils down
some
to
of these things.
the professionalism. You should know. You should have your things in control.
No, if you're talking about
Personally.
professionalism, then it's with everyone in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, on that note, we're gonna continue this discussion off camera.
Yeah.
I just want to make a nice, brief one. So thank you guys for coming. Thank you for telling the story. Thank you for making sure people in Amsterdam are dressed even nicer than they already are. Larry J,
Yes.
Awurama Mankatah Tribes, please follow these two amazing
Follow us
shows.
on Instagram at Brother Tribes.
Buy in the online shops.
BrotherTribes.com.
Yeah, Larry J Ghana everywhere.
Yeah,
Larry
my
J
darling.
Ghana, Larry J.
Larry J Ghana everywhere, LarryJ.com.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, Carmen.
Thank you. Ciao. This discussion was the best.
Oh goodness, it's real, Larry. Like I fought for